Welcome to another presentation of the Globe Sound Healing Conference. Today we have Lisa Lippincott. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, David.
How are you?
I'm up in Tahoe. It's a little cold here, but I originally am in Scottsdale where it's warmer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lisa Gongster is a certified sound therapist. She intuitively knows how to move and create sound waves, overtones, and theta waves for the best meditative experience out there. She, she is a 500-hour yoga teacher, certified in music theory, cranial sacral therapy, and studied the four directions, Toltec and Karo shamanism. And her website is gongster.com. Lisa is a former commercial pilot turned sound healer. After becoming ill from aerotoxins, she sought out vibration intuitively after 2 years being bedridden. She found that the gong decreased her stress, cured her migraines, vertigo, chronic fatigue, and took away pain of fibromyalgia. Gongster sought out scientific answers for sound discovery at Globe Sound Healing Institute in San Francisco, where she received her degree. She's currently building the Scottsdale Sound Sanctuary on an acre of land in Scottsdale, where you can do spiritual retreats, including yoga and sound. And there's a studio and retreat house and even a sound pool. I love it. Relax, reset, feel, be, and belong in a sound journey that detoxes, awakens, and rejuvenates the body. In your center, your sanctuary built now?
Yes, it's all built.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. And you got the pools with speakers in it where you can go be vibrated, right?
Yes. Yeah,
It,
we got the speakers in the pool, and it's saltwater pool, so it's amazing. It's heated, solar heated,
wow.
and it's just amazing. And then sometimes you can play bowls in the water itself
Wow.
while you have these tones going. So if people have different ailments, we can use a lot of your music that you developed for certain chronic fatigue or um, you have all the immune systems and those tapes that you sell or CDs that you sell.
Uh-huh. So what have you been up to lately?
Oh, I just bought the some property next door, so now I'm up to 2 acres, so I can have a retreat up to 20 people now,
Oh,
and lots of space. I didn't know, I don't think you knew that. And
with rooms where people can stay there and everything?
yeah, there's everyone can have a bed, 20 places to sleep, beds.
Wow, that's
And
cool.
then, yeah, and then we have some rollaway beds. So it's a perfect place for a retreat when it's wintry and cold because Scottsdale's great attractions. We also have the what's it called? The music museum, which is phenomenal, um, down there in
Hmm.
Scottsdale.
Cool. Okay, I got the big question that I ask everybody. If you had all the money in the world, what would you do to help people on the planet?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, David, I'd give it all to you because you know what you're doing.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I swear I would, because you're connected to everything and you have ideas and plans and just give you some money and I think you're just going to make the best use of it than anybody I could think of.
Then I would hire you to do like everything.
Oh yeah, right. I'll just say that's a good person you hired and that's a good person you hired. I'm not going to do it all. I'll
Thank you.
help you in
That's
any
really
way
sweet.
possible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so what's your presentation about?
Well, basically, do's and don'ts with gong meditation and things that I have learned through with playing and having groups of people over and just making it the best experience possible. One of the When we just start,
Yeah, yeah.
one of the main things is the ambience. When they come in, I want them to feel very safe. So, being able to turn down the lights or have some kind of sparkly lights that kind of gives you a different ambience. And I see a lot of people with gong sessions doing this, which is great. Comfortable places for them to lay down, bolsters for their knees so they can relax the back if they have back problems, pillow, blanket when they get cold. Just make sure they're very comfortable and very safe. Other things I find that can be a problem right off the bat while you're setting up is squeaky frames. The squeaky, I guess that I just forgot the names of it, the gong stands. One of the things that helps the squeak is putting the gong stands on carpet. Um, that seems to help a lot. Also, the culprit usually is in the wheels, or if it's not lined up straight. I like to play the gongs a little bit with the wheels unlocked at first and then lock them. That seems to help. And tightening the screws, of course, it's very important for you to not tighten it too tight, but tighten it tight enough and not have it loose. So it's an art to squeaky gong stands, but please check it out before you play because it can really distract you as a player and sometimes the student. What other things? Ambience, rattle. Uh, I always bring in breath just to slow them down and get them into their bodies. Breath is, I believe, the most important modality of all sound healing and in life in general, with stress, with anything. We are shallow breathers by nature because of traffic, stress. We learn it as a child, usually. It's a mechanism that we do when we don't want to hear what another person's saying. So if your mom or dad are yelling at you, we do shallow breathing and they said, do you know, can you tell me what I just said? And you can't. That's because you kind of tone them out by shallow breathing. And this is carried on to our adult. And it's not a natural breath for us. So one of the things I just get us back into our natural state by giving nice deep breaths, almost exaggerating the diaphragm being filled up, and then the chest, and then exhaling out. The chest comes, you exhale back out to the chest and then the diaphragm, bringing the diaphragm all the way back and all the air out. The more air you can get out, the more fresh prana life force you can bring into the body. And that's so important because it clears the mind. It actually stops, I believe, chatter in the mind because you're getting full oxygen. You're not in this place of, I can't remember what just happened. I don't remember. I have to remember. I'm going to have to do this. So the deep breaths are so amazingly a great tool for life and for sound healing in the session. So I get them breathing, and then I'll ask them if there's any place on their body that needs attention, love, has stuck energy. I don't use the word pain or anything like that. It's just it's something stuck or needs some love. So what I have them do, which is really, I think, important during the Gong meditations, because a lot of people have a lot of frequencies changing in your body and moving things. And so what I have them do is inhale in fully and then imagine exhaling into that area. And as they exhale into that area usually moves, changes, or disappears. Finding that out, having them do that through their body, they start to connect with their body and they start to have a tool to put attention into an area that needs some love. So a lot of times when there's areas that are stuck, we will tighten up and we'll try to avoid it rather than say, okay, here you are. Let me give you some attention. Let me give you fresh prana life force. Let me relieve and relax this place. So I bring that up in the beginning, and it seems to help when there are energies rearranging. The second thing is I always bring in toning, and toning is very important. One of the reasons I believe is they start to warm up your gongs, and They also warms up the body to be able to receive vibration, because you are giving out vibration through the tones, and the body starts to say, okay, this is safe. I know how to do this. The voice is the, the most amazing sound instrument we have, and we need to bring in more of our voice into sound healing. So I would say I would do tones. First tone would be obviously the ah, not obviously, but I'm telling you, ah. The second tone would be a o, and third tone would be a m, which will be the first sound of creation, om, which we would do at the last. But for the inhale, the ah, I will inhale as much air as possible and exhale ah as long as you can. So the ah as long, 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 long as you can. And this also helps with the breathing part. And the second om, or after the first om, I usually say, where do you feel that in your body? Is it is there a certain place in the body that reflects this om? Can you feel your body relaxing through the vibrations? Then we do the o. I'll ask the same question, or I can feel the class starting to slow down, and I'll go into the inhale in, exhale as long as possible. And then I give it some silence. And then I point out again how vibration can help release ligaments, tension, get us to start to breathe and relax. And then I have them do all three tones together to do an om. So they do the om. I have quiet again, and I say, because everyone harmonizes, and the healing that is potential in there, the gongs here, because every time I play a session, they always sound different, always. And so the gongs get to know the people get to know the gongs. And we finish saying, this is our sacred space, it's protected, it's safe, and it's a guided area for the hour that we'll play the gong. Next, I'll start playing the gong, and I think one of the nice tips of playing gong is to start, well, I was going to say start low and easy, but I'm thinking more like sometimes I start kind of loud. It depends on your group. If they're not settled in, I will always take the gong where they're at. Meaning if they're wild and they can't settle, I'll bring it up wild and a little bit louder than I usually would start. And then I would bring it lower and bring them down with it. So usually I don't have to do that. I start low and I kind of get them used to the vibrations and settled in. And a lot of times, I should show you at the end of this, I have a picture of my studio. I am fortunate enough to have a 64-inch gong. It's from Tone of Life. It's a Cosmo. And the nice thing about having a large gong, you don't have to hit it very much to have the resonance go out. So I usually use that as a base of the other gongs next to me. So I'll have that. So when I transition to another gong, it's not like I'm starting from the beginning and they hear it starting up. It already has I would call it a base going on. So the base, and then I'll play other gongs around it, bringing them up and letting them fade down is really important. Also, I do a tap, 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 which is keeps it at the same noise volume, but gives the same frequency over and over. I think I'm going to play a really short version of my gong meditations, and I'll show you and talk over it a little bit of what I'm doing, how I'm transitioning from one thing to another. It's nice to have carpet when you transition other um, instruments as you set down one and you pick up another. So I'll get my screen up here and see if we can. Oh, yeah, there's my setup. Also, I have these screens in the back that goes out to the lawn area, and it's like so nice. They're in there, and I drop this into a cocoon. It gets just totally dark. Um, so let's play this if I can find what to play it. There we go.
Hi, this is Lisa. I'm just going to
You
play a
probably
short
can
little
hear it better than I
Gong
can.
meditation so you can hear a little bit of the transactions and what's going on, and then later I'll explain it to you.
Really hear you.
Can you hear it, David?
Can't hear you talking, but
Okay, I'm not talking yet. But see
okay.
how I start here? I start tapping the center gong to get it going, a little bass in the back, and then I start to warm up the other gongs on the side. I tap, 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 tap to keep it from going up or down, just a steady sound. Certain places on each gong are my favorite little areas that give me effects that I want. The setting up here sounds very spacey where I'm playing right there. This is a little deeper gong. It's vinyl. I have two setnas. I love setnas. They sound totally different though. And then over there is Flower of Life. It's a deep gong. The Nuguru down below. If I hit it in a certain place, it just takes off. Woo! There it is. I don't dress like this for gong. Usually have gong clothes on. So here I'm transitioning into the ocean. And I use music from outside. Right now I'm using a looper that's already has the me playing the ocean drum. But I can use on a boombox or the stereo system. I can put real live ocean sounds, and this helps a lot with transitioning. It also helps a lot, I believe, for the students because they can relate to ocean sounds, and a lot of the gongs and instruments play right into them and sound perfect. It gives the newcomer a sense of a knowing of something familiar. So I find the brain likes to be able to predict what's coming. And the gong's very hard to do that. So playing an ocean drum and the sound of ocean with it, as now it's playing, I can do other things. I can walk around the room. I can play some wind sounds, some chimes. And I go over people or around the room so they don't know where the sound's coming from. So there's a little constant going on and a little bit unpredictability. The brain loves a pattern and a rhythm, which the ocean's doing there. And then I have something else. It's familiar sound, but yet it's if I'm going around the room, it's a little bit unpredictable. Here, see how I set it down where I don't make noise? I'm going to sit down one chime and keep the other one going until I transition into something else. So, whales and dolphins with the ocean. Sometimes I find people with these flumies think it's very scary. So we try to make it sound like something familiar in nature. The smaller the flumy head, the higher the pitch. And you see I'm still using the chime. And then we start to put in some sounds of ocean, deep sounds, deep water. So I'm going to transition here by turning off the ocean music and going back to the ocean drum. Starting one instrument, keeping one instrument going while I'm doing another instrument, and then I can slowly transition into playing the gongs again. If you notice, I kind of, with my feet, sometimes you got to walk gently because you have things on the ground. Here's a rhythm. This is my favorite thing to do. It's also the brain likes a rhythm where it says, oh, I know that, I know that, I know that, I know that. And it makes it feel safe. I also like it because it puts me into a really relaxed state. That's my go-to if I start chattering in my mind. The brain goes, okay, I'm tired of that. Oh, there's something new happening. And then it just knows I know those are familiar. I'm just going to let go, feel, and listen. I can't hear if I have the bass of the gong going in the background or not. Sometimes I do that when I transition more. If I want to take the small gong off to the right bottom around to just gong the people, I usually gong their feet because then they can feel the vibrations. I do that to everyone. Gong over them. But the feet, sometimes I'll touch the blanket so they get into the body right away. I'm transitioning into the bowls now. You can make a sound with the gong. It sounds like a bowl. And these two white bowls, it's crystal bowls. Yeah, make sure your ocean drum's not too close. The vibrations will get it to roll. But these two white are delta theta bowls. They're a 4 hertz difference, which gives a binaural beat, which is also good for calming people down during the gong. But as you notice, I go, I kind of build and release here. I have a tape playing. It's actually a loop of the bowls playing. But a lot of times you can get a boombox or a stereo system and play bowl sounds, which there's plenty of them on YouTube, and just helps you transition and to be more attentive to your clients. So there's not a stop and a start going on all the time. So always start something new before putting another instrument down, so you don't hear the stop of something. You have more of a flow during the whole Gong meditation. And then I come back to the Gong the way I started it, the way I started the bowls, transition backwards. I guess the main thing you want to do is just keep things flowing. And I use tools for that, like the looper, the stereo system, holding one instrument and playing another before letting go of an instrument. So now, since they are more acclimated to all the vibrations, you can pick up the sound of the gong. I'm looking for something, and I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm missing something. Oh, I think that's it. So let me see, escape here, and share. So that basically, I want to show you also, well, let me go one thing at a time. Whatever. Transitions need to be really smooth, and ways you can do is play extra music in the background that you pick yourself. You can get a looper where you can play your instrument and keep it going as you stop. You can get always hold on to one instrument when you're starting another one, and then drop that down. And then if you're using this instrument and you want to go to another instrument, keep it going, bring the other instrument up, and then drop this one. So you want to transition where there's no silence in between. Silence is very, very important, and I usually add it into my Gong meditation when I go drop it down into the bowls or into the ocean. And it's just a place where I don't need the ocean or the bowls to do it. It's just a die down. And a lot of people don't even realize there's silence ever in the Gong meditation. So the silence actually helps the body assimilate and release things that are not needed, even if they don't know what they are. And it's a great place for that, just arranging and releasing and retuning the body. It's most important at the end of the Gong meditation or the Gong session. Um, I think that's the place where people really drop and they really are into their bodies, and it's a great place. Hi, David.
Hey, you know, I'm glad you're talking about the silence. You know, what I've found in concerts a lot now is to actually do silence about 3 or 4 times through the sound bath, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so precious. And then whatever you do after that is just like you're in this magical space now.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. The silence is where the magic is.
Hmm.
It is, and without silence, would have no sound. It's the zone. Are you disappearing on me now?
Yep, I don't want to distract you.
Well, it. I'm so glad you brought it up too because it's amazing. Let me see if I can find my place. Can you see that, David? Yeah.
So I'm going to play a little bit for
Let me
you
see if I turn this down. That's my puppies.
and do some transactions or
I don't
transitions
want
while I
this to be.
play. Here.
I'm trying to find my studio here so you can see it with the lights on.
Happening where for
Nope, I didn't have it lined up.
you is those three.
So anyway, it might be. Let me try one more time, and then I want to bother you guys. Let's see. I think. Eh, eh, eh. Ah, nope. Trying to show you with the lights open. Don't have it here. I'm sorry, guys. You're just gonna have to come visit me down in Scottsdale. Um, I'm at. You can find most everything at gongster.com, and the place is called the Scottsdale Sound Sanctuary, and I'm just so happy. My story, I'll tell you a little bit about that quickly, is I was a pilot and flew the fastest passenger plane next to the Concorde. It was called the Cessna Citation 10. I loved what I did. Actually, before that, I was a hang glider pilot up in Tahoe, where I'm now. And I got into that because of boyfriend. But something happened with this hang gliding is I didn't know until later. It was getting in the moment. And this was a love for me, the meditation, being in the moment. And so when I went off to fly airplanes, because my grandma sat me down and had that talk, um, she basically, what was I going to say? She's so funny because she said, "What are you going to do with your life?" And I said, "I don't know, Grandma. I'm too old. I'm 25 and I'm not smart enough." And she said I could do anything I wanted, and if I wanted it bad enough. So basically, flying to me was chasing the moment, and I chased the moment all the way to flying the fastest jet, the Cessna Citation 10. So I flew that for a few years, and it flies at 51,000 feet, 0.92 Mach. So I started getting very tired um, on my trips, and soon I would be waking up where I felt like I was hit by a truck. And then I soon got migraines where I had to. I never had to call in sick because I was a contract pilot. I just said I was unavailable. The migraines got really bad and then the vertigo hit. So I was on other trips for quite a while. Um, a year of this went by going to doctors, naturopaths, diet, food. I mean, if you could think it, I did it. I tried anything. But within a year, I had to bring up the vertigo, knowing that I had to tell him that I knew my career was over with flying. So I told him I had vertigo. So please help me. So I had the migraine shot, I mean, the Botox shots in the brain and not the brain, in the head. I did, again, everything. So I was sitting in my room, which I couldn't do much of anything else. And you learn that life goes on without you, which really sucks. You know that, but it really sucks when you have to actually feel that. Um, so I was sitting there and pretending I was in a cave and somewhere that I paid a lot of money to learn to meditate. And I kept thinking, this one doctor told me that most people are dizzy because the medulla and their brains not formed at a young age, and they saw something, they reacted to something, someone told them something, and the brain couldn't understand it and it went into the body. I think that can happen now. Think of all the cell phone conversations and TV stuff that can go into the body. But he told me that and I got very angry about that. But anger sometimes is a clue to some truth, or something I needed to open up and pay attention to. So I thought, well, if there's something going on with my body that I can't use my brain to help me with, then vibration is the answer, because we're all vibration. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go and search for vibration. So I went to chanting. I used to have people driving me everywhere. But the greatest part was a couple weeks later, there was a gong meditation next door. So they came and got me, walked me over, listened to the gong, and I said, yep, this is it. Can you come play at my house after my book study meeting? And she said, yes, I'd love to. So she came over on Monday night, and soon after, a girl came to the book study and goes, how do you know about Gong? I'm a Gong master. I said, you want to play with, you want to play with us? And she said, absolutely. So I had 5 Gong players playing every Monday night, and it was a very popular group. And I finally decided to get a gong and start playing it. And I kind of self-taught myself because there wasn't a lot of instruction. There wasn't much on the internet. There was a couple of books I read about the clocks and everything, but I would play and listen. I couldn't stand, I had to sit. Um, and I'd listen to the sounds. And actually, they say a gong master is mastered by the gong. And I truly believe that. That gong really taught me, because I would play sounds which later in sound healing school at David's place, Globe, I did a voice bio, and it told me I had petroleum poisoning and I needed a certain frequency to counteract it. And that's my favorite note that I played on the gong. I used a flumi and went around the edges of it, and it so happened played that certain note for me. And I didn't realize I was healing myself, and I was sold on healing properties of sound. My first thing that happened with the gong was my pain went away. Totally relieved of pain, not waking up like I was hit by a truck. Next, it took a while for the migraines, but I'd have, I'd have migraines every week for 3 or 4 days. I mean, 2 days break. And they would go every other week, which was amazing. And then the vertigo took a while to go. I think it completely went away after 4 months, but it was very sparse and in between getting it. I believe the gong just helped me. I was in snowball stress because it was fight or flight. I didn't know when it was going to spin. I didn't know what was going on, so the body could never heal. And going to a gong meditation made it so I could actually let the body heal itself without my mind in the way. And the frequencies could do what they needed to do to reset that specific vibration in the body of each cell and entrain itself back into natural health. I was sold on it. So now my life's all about gongs, and I have the big gongs. I got a car that takes the gongs. I have a retreat that has the gongs. I no longer fly in the air, but I certainly am flying on the ground now. Love what David's class brought to me, because I was not a sound healer. I was a pilot, and got to meet or got to understand different sound modalities, different ways to do things, got to do sacred geometry, music theory, which I had no clue about, and just opened up my world and met most wonderful people that I'm still in touch with, and we get together and play. So I'm very grateful to this program and what it's done. And that's why I'd probably give the money to David to create something fantastic with all his wonderful plans. And he's got the most creative mind I know. So you really got something going there, David. And you were the first. I don't think there was any sound healing schools around, so I was lucky.
Cool, cool. You know, I didn't. I should have said at the beginning, but I've been to a lot of gong baths, and some are really annoying. And Lisa, I think you're the best gong player ever. I've just because, and it's really because of the flow that you totally you mentioned and talked about in detail, and really being able to create that smooth flow. So there's a smooth up and down, and of course no banging, no banging.
No banging. Don't bang that gong. Can I tell you something interesting really quick
Hmm.
about banging?
Uh-huh.
I had a student who I taught, and she came back later, and the string on her gong broke. And I go, I've never heard of anybody breaking a brand new string on their gong. She was banging the the hell out of it, you know. And I'm like, I taught you all this stuff. Why are you banging it? She goes, it's the only time I can stop my mind. She had an eating disorder, and it helped
Hmm.
with her eating disorder to stop the mind. So I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right, David?
You're not
I
a baby tosser,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm not a baby tosser. I she needed it for her healing. She
Mhm.
needed it, and it helped her. And she hasn't had the disorder since she started playing that gong. So you don't know what people need.
Yeah, except individually, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah,
especially for releasing, like stuck emotions and anger. I
yeah.
mean, we're thinking for PTSD, like, you know, don't do a concert, just get them to play it and like beat it, let it out.
Yeah.
That's very cool. It's interesting because the way I think of gongs, it's a really unusual balance because they're really activating as far as their tonal structure, as far as their harmonic structures, mostly odd harmonics, which is activating. They have enharmonics, which are not mathematical multiples, which are really activating, and it's got noise.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, it's got this stable, consistent tone, right? Where people go to sleep to it, even,
yeah.
right? So it's this really unusual balance of like calming and totally activating at the same time.
Yep. Didn't you say with the brain waves, gamma is like that? Really fast and slow at the same time?
Yeah, yeah, it is fast and slow. Yeah, it's like the base of this of the gongs would be the gamma, and then the rhythms that build up. Oh my God, Jeffrey Thompson's even talking about like a 10-minute wave in the brain now that goes
Whoa.
up. Yeah, he discovered it himself, right? So it's like, oh my God, right? Um, what about people though? Do you say something about for people that could get overwhelmed with the gongs?
Usually they don't want to come.
Uh huh.
I
Uh
find
huh.
that people that are detoxing, whether food, drugs, alcohol, any kind of detox, sometimes it can pull the detox out faster and it's uncomfortable, especially if you're banging it. But
Mm-hmm.
um, they don't want to be there.
Uh
They'll come
huh.
when they need to.
Uh huh. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
And didn't you do some research with a hospital as well?
No, I didn't do the hospital, but I did that. It was I took a group of people through a certain amount of gong and found out if they became more connected, how their stress level was,
Oh. Uh-huh.
and that sort of thing. And I just found that people, this one gal in it was fascinating. She got the relief. She got less stress. She felt more connected. Oh no, but the stress was up. And I'm like,
Oh.
what's going on here? Everything was fine, but her stress was out the roof, and she was on disability. And if she got better, she'd have to go back to work. We talked about it later. So she didn't want to get better. So the stress was completely off the chart.
Oh,
Isn't
that's
that
funny.
weird? Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow.
Not eating a full meal before is usually better because the
Mhm,
body will, primal, it will digest first before it will release any toxins or release anything. So
mhm,
that seems to help. Drinking lots of water afterwards is amazing. You'll sleep like crazy because of the gamma that's produced through a theta meditation. And they say 20 minutes of this relaxation is like 4 hours of sleep.
mhm.
So, you know,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Well, excellent. Anything
That
else?
worked better. That worked good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to share before we end?
Oh, I can't wait to watch everybody else that you got coming up for this conference. I think this is a great idea. Like I said, if you're interested in checking out the Sound Sanctuary and need a place to stay and come down to Scottsdale, you can email me at info@gongster.com. I want to try to get David down there to do an event sometime down the road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your work and everything you do. I really can't wait to come there and get in your tub and just
Yes.
hang out. God, it's so great that you got such a nice center for a lot of people to stay now. That's like really cool. I'm
It
excited.
is really cool, and it's just a dream. My whole thing, my intention for playing gong is um, it's healing, of course, but it's creating a community of like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all that I want is people to be able to be free to be in their truth, not right and wrong, just the truth they have of that day,
Mm-hmm.
and just accept it of everybody, acceptance. So it's been amazing the groups of people that have formed great friendships through the gong meditations and sessions I have. So
Nice.
it kind of reminds me of when we were all together at your place,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
because I wanted that. Because it's just so nice to be with like-minded people.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It's so great. I've got a bunch of gongs now at the store, and we're going to be doing a concert a week from. Well, actually, it'll probably be after this is before this is actually aired. So yeah, I've just now I know my concert will be way better. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Cool.
Good
Thank you
deal.
so much. I'm going to play the closing video now.
Okay, bye.
Okay. See ya.
This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Visit newearth1.com.